I want me some glory hole.
Oh, yeah. Hello, welcome to the FGH Radio Show. Whether you listen to us on Fishbowl Radio, watch us live on the Facebook Live on the YouTube channel, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, SoundCloud, or Spotify, live or recorded any way you can afford it, baby. We thank each and every Glory Hole Seeker for tuning in this week. I'm your host, Bo Stevens, and I'm joined here in the studio, as always, by my good buddy Longhorn. And Longhorn, this time next week, we will be at the luxurious Stadium Swim, soaking up the rays in Las Vegas, Nevada, getting a bottle service there, kid, from those lovely young ladies in the high heels, just trying to make a couple of shekels to get through college, of course. So I'm excited about that. Probably waste a little money betting baseball. Who knows what we'll get into? Signing some contracts, getting some contests, putting our over-unders down for the NFL season coming up, Longhorn. Oh, it is getting to be that time, buddy boy. It is getting to be that time.
Yeah, FGH is crashing Vegas next week. Looking super forward to that. And who are we? What do we do? And where can you find us? Well, what we do is we make you money during the football season. To put it bluntly, you would never go bet on stocks blindly. You wouldn't just go in there and punch a buttons like that one looks good, that one looks good. Don't do that. Don't do that with football either. Use the professionals at FGH. Where you can find us is every Saturday right here, 10 to 11 a.m. on Fishbowl Radio Network. We got the Football Glory Hole podcast twice a week during the season. And but of course, if you really want to maximize your opportunity, you got to go to that Patreon page that's scrolling on the bottom of the screen, patreon.com/bet_FGH. And that's how you find us. That's what we do. And where we be is in, like you said, in the Circa Pool rooftop next week, Bo Stevens, and I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, hell yeah. Definitely looking forward to that. But we got some interesting topics to go over this week for everybody. Just kind of wet your whistle on some preseason stuff as Longhorn tries not to die on air. So that would be nice. Although might be a rating spike. Who knows? I have no idea.
But can you hear that?
Hear what?
Could you hear it?
Yeah.
Like when I was muting it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. All right. Well, before we get into that,
so Longhorn, I had it muted.
Longhorn to get rid of that nasty cough he's got going on in his throat. He's going to go to TexasTelehealth.com because let's face it, going to the doctor sucks. Having a scheduled appointment, take time off of work, or leaving the middle of a radio show to go there. Can't do that. My good friend Dr. West, TexasTelehealth.com has a way to skip all that. You go to the website, schedule your appointment as little as 30 minutes or less. You're on the phone with him. He's got you diagnosed, a script written, and you're feeling better in no time. And the best part is you never have to leave your house or work again because you can have the script called in an Amazon pharmacy and delivered right to your door. Oh, I go to Dr. West. Longhorn's about to, and you should too, because at TexasTelehealth.com, they treat everything. The common cold, flu, ED, VD, and weight loss too. Get that Ozempic, baby, for $119 for a 30-day supply, and your consultation is always free with an accepted health insurance. So if you're going to Vegas, you're going to have a pain that's going to be turning green a little while. You got too much size around your thighs, yellow shit coming out of your nose, lungs, and eyes. Go to TexasTelehealth.com right now and put in, or tell them that FGH sent you. That's TexasTelehealth.com for all your medical needs. All right. That out of the way, Longhorn. I think it's trivia time. We haven't had trivia in a little while. Longhorn loves when I bring a little trivia to the show.
Hate trivia, but go ahead. I hate it. I'm always bad at this, but knock yourself out.
I think you might be good at least some of this. So a little impromptu trivia. And this is something I just came across. I didn't make this. If somebody else did this research, but I thought it very interesting. So here's the parameters for these couple of questions. So the divisions in the NFL as we know them today were realigned in 2002, and they have been the same ever since then. So this is since 2002. We've completed the 2024 season. So in 22 years, that's the span in which these questions, this is the time frame. So, in the last 22 years, Longhorn, what team has finished dead ass last in their division the most times in the NFL?
Ooh, I will go with let's go with the usual suspects of Cleveland.
Ding, ding, ding. He nailed it. Now,
all right.
How many times out of 22 seasons do you think they finished last?
Oh, God. With Baltimore and Pittsburgh in that division, it's really like how many times did Cincy and Cleveland take turns being dead last? So out of 22, I'm going to go Burrow's been there for 5 years, so 5 or 6 years. So throw those out. So you got 15 or so remaining. I'm guessing Cleveland bagged at least 12 of those. But that seems low, so I'm going to kick that up to 14 out of 22.
Pretty damn close. 15 times out of 22 years they have been dead last. Oh, my God, those poor people of Cleveland. And what's funny is when we went up there in the draft, you know, they just come off of Baker's rookie year. Hopes were high. I think their over-under was 8.5, whatever ridiculous number.
That was his second year that when we went there for the draft? Holy shit.
And so, of course, we hit the under on that. That was a ridiculous number for Vegas to put out with all the hype. But even the fans in Cleveland, I can say this to their credit, they were very precautionary. None of them they were like, let's see, it looks good, but we don't get our hopes up too high here.
I was thinking they were very drunk. Was the word I was.
Well, they were that, but even in their inebriated state, they had known they've been beaten down their entire lives. They knew too good to get their hopes up too fucking high. That it's just the reality of being a Cleveland Browns fan, I guess. You live in misery. You live in literal poverty and misery as a Browns fan. God bless all you people.
Cleveland fans, come after him in the comments. You tell him that you didn't earn the mistake by the lake. It's not your fault people call you that. It's a beautiful town for at least 2 weeks a year. At least 2 weeks.
At least 2 weeks. Not the week we were, but probably 2 weeks at some point.
I enjoyed your town, Cleveland. I enjoyed it. The people are nice.
Oh, yeah.
The
weather just sucked.
You eat a lot, and
you drink a lot. You eat a lot, you drink a lot. Town.
Makes sense. It's the weather's that wind off that lake will literally cut right through you like you're not even there. God. So you got to carry a little extra weight. I get it. And but yeah, I enjoyed the town. It was a cool little town. And sorry about your football team. That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. All right, let's go for number 2 now. Who has the second most? And I'll give you a hint on this one because I don't want to take all day. This team is in the NFC, second most last place finishes since 2002.
I'm going to go with I'm going to throw 2 at you. I'm going to say either Arizona or Washington.
Washington would be the correct answer at 11 times in 20. So half the time they finished dead ass last in 22 years. Arizona, they're up there. They're at 9. They're tied with the Bears, and the Jets for third place.
Nice.
Now, the second place 2 teams. One of these, yes, I would have gotten. The other one, I don't remember them being this bad for that long, but 10 times the Lions have finished in last place. Which
fuck. Yeah, they've just been so good lately.
But they were horrible forever.
Oh yeah. How did that not even cross my mind?
I know. I thought you were going to go Lions for sure, which would have been close for the second. But the other team that's tied with the Lions for third most at 10, I would not have guessed this team at all. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't remember them being that bad for that long. They've been hit or miss, but dead last, I don't remember a stretch for them that bad.
Well, can you even remember the quarterback before Baker? Before Tom?
Tommy? Yeah, I remember Tommy.
Before Tom.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah, that goes back a stretch.
That's what I'm saying. And I mean, they were in the Super Bowl in 2002 or whatever that was, or pretty close to it. I guess it was 2001, but.
Yeah, you'd think Carolina would be bagging.
Yeah, they're not they're so far down. They're actually tied. They've only finished dead last 6 times. They're tied with the Bengals for only 6.
Not going
to. I mean, you got the Cam years, so he was there for a decade, and they weren't ever terrible while he was there. Maybe his first and last year, I think, and then everything in the middle, they're either good or average.
They're not going to be last this year. I can tell you that.
No, they're not going to be last this year.
There's a new last place king in town.
All right, so here's another one that I would not have guessed. But other than the Redskins and the NFC East, what team has the most last place finishes other than them and that division?
Well, you kind of gave it away. I guess it'd be Philly.
Well, they're tied actually with the Giants at 5. Only 5 times Philly's been dead last. And then the Cowboys, how many times would you say they've been dead last since 2002?
Oh, God. They live in the middle. So it'll be very low. Once?
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice. All right.
That's their MO.
Yeah. Last couple questions on this. So here's a funny one. The Patriots have 2 last place finishes in that time frame, and it's been the last 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
So they've never had one before Tommy left, and now they've had 2 already.
They had quite a run.
Baltimore's only had 2 as well, but there's 3 teams that have only finished last 1 time in 22 years. 2 NFC, 1 AFC.
They've finished last once?
1 time. 3 teams. 2 NFC, 1 AFC.
Chiefs?
Nope. They finished last 5 times. The Chiefs were bad for a little while.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
San Fran.
No, so shockingly, 7 times they finished dead last.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I would never would have guessed that either.
Well, Green Bay then. I'm just gonna go to all the ones that are good, always good.
Green Bay is 1. We got 1 NFC, 1 AFC left.
Jeez, this one's hard. This is a hard one.
Yep.
Yeah, just bust them. You know what? Denver's never bad.
I thought the same thing, and they finished last 5 times now.
Okay.
They've been on a bad run up until Sean Payton. Yeah, Sean Payton got there. In fact, I think there was a stat at one time. Denver had, I think they'd had, I can't remember the stat anymore, but it was something like less losing seasons than any team in the NFL through their entire franchise history at one point. All right, so the other team in the NFC is the Seattle Seahawks, and the team in the AFC is the Colts. 1 last place finish in 22 years. Which makes sense if you think Peyton and Andrew Luck coming together.
Manning and Luck, because everybody goes from Hall of Famer to Hall of Fame.
Yeah, of course they do.
If he doesn't quit on his team, he goes to Hall of Fame.
One last question. There is one team out of 32 that has not finished last, not 1 time in 22 years.
Oh. Boy, see, this just makes it too hard. We've gone over almost every fucking team. Like, who could it possibly be?
Who could it possibly be?
I don't know. Who is it?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh my God. Duh. Yeah.
Not 1 time in 22 years have they finished dead last. That's incredible. By the way, because it was them and the Patriots until, of course, Swami left.
They do the Dallas thing, except way better. Like they
do the Dallas thing, except they mix in a Super Bowl once a decade.
They mix in a Super Bowl. They never dip into that top. Which you could say it's better. I don't know that it's actually better to always win 9-10 games, but never
not if you're not in contention. Like they're never really this year they're probably going to win 9 or 10 games, and they still won't be a contender. Like it's the same story, rinse and repeat with them. So, yeah, that's not the position to be in. At least when Big Ben was there in his prime, they were rolling. At least they were contenders every year. Now they had to try to get past Tommy, which good luck. Just like now they got to get past Patty. Again, good luck. It's not their fault, but at least then they were a team like, hey, they could do it.
It's going to be hard for Patty to win a game against Pittsburgh when they score 0 points.
So we can talk about that real quick. The Simeon Rice thing. Is that his name, Simeon Rice? Or is that
Simeon Rice?
What's the receiver? Right? Isn't it Rice?
Oh, Rashid Rice.
Rashid Rice. Sorry, I'm dipping now. Now I'm showing my age. So
that's a 1990s, early 2000s pass rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He was a 99 rated defensive end on Madden. I remember that. That dude was a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, he was part of that amazing Tampa Bay defense that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So with Rashid Rice getting 30 days in jail.
When does it start?
It can start anytime. It's basically at his leisure. He's going to serve 30 days.
He'll start it in February, late February. Let's do late February.
Yeah, so he does have to. I think he has to serve it in Dallas though, so he's got to be home to do it. So obviously now's not the time for that. But you got to think going forward, the NFL has to do something because there's been. I mean, almost every player ever suspended has never done jail time. Like literally never. They never get arrested, or they might get arrested, but they never get convicted. They never do jail time ever. This dude has to do 30 days in actual jail. And we've seen, I mean, we saw Zeke get suspended 6 games for grabbing a titty. Like,
and he's lucky it's only 30 days. We have video of what he did. There's video of him like leaving the scene of an accident on the highway where he was reckless driving, could have killed someone. Like it's we don't have video of the crash as far as well, I bet you there is video if they're always filming highways, so there's probably definitely video of the crash also. But we've seen the video of him, the pile up on the highway, him and his buddies just walking away from the scene, like, no, get us out of here. We don't want no part of this. So yeah, like 30 days at your leisure, first of all, is ridiculously light. Like if you and I get arrested, you know what? You get 30 days. Why don't you pick when you want to do that? You just kind of let us know when's a good time for you. Like that's already bullshit. And then
you know what, boss? I don't got no plans this weekend. So how about I come in and pop in a spell? Let's knock out 48 of these hours out of this 30 days.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. And the only reason that is because they know that he's plays for the Chiefs or just a NFL team. I'm not saying specifically the Chiefs. He plays for the NFL, and the season's about to start, and they need him. So like he's already getting that break. Goodell has to. I mean, to me, when I first saw that he was going to start 30 days, to me that's 6 to 8 games. That's immediate. 6 to 8 games.
It has to be. It has to be because again, guys have gotten that much or more for things that again did not land them in actual incarceration. So I don't see any way around him not at least. I mean, it's a minimum of 4. I'm with you. I think 6 or 8 is more appropriate, but it's got to be something. They can't not do nothing because if they don't do anything, the other 31 teams in this league are going to throw a shit fit. Because I remember how goddamn mad Jerry was when Zeke got 6 games for grabbing a titty. And all the other owners were like laughing in his face behind the scenes, like, yeah, fuck you, buddy. Look what we did. Because Jerry was pretty convinced that he wasn't going to get any time for that. And then he gets 6 fucking games. Like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
Yeah, and I can already see.
I think they got peeled down to 4 if I remember right, but still.
Probably so. But I can already see like the young Chiefs fans in the comment section just coming at us. But just let's get a little perspective here because Henry Ruggs doing the same thing, reckless driving, killed someone, and he's in jail for a very long time. His career is over. So the fact that he didn't kill someone, like that's not like, I mean,
that's just luck.
Yeah, he just got lucky. So, like this has to be a strong message, and no one's going to fucking feel bad for the Chiefs fans. Everybody's sick of them getting all the breaks on the field, which we've said that like good teams get breaks. That's just the way it goes. All the great teams have always gotten all the calls and the breaks, but you can't baby them off the field with this type of stuff too. So Goodell needs to drop the hammer. It's got to be 6 games, maybe 8, appealed down to 6. Who knows where it lands? But yeah, I'm curious to see when that all goes down and how that takes effect. You would think Kansas City wants it done as soon as possible so that you can have him, as you're doing your stretch run. So who knows? But who knows? Because fucking Goodell does. I mean, we've seen this in the past. He does whatever he wants, whenever he wants with these suspensions. There's no time frame. There's no framework of When, how? It's so,
There's no precedent. It's not like, the written law, like, oh, you do this crime, the penalty is X to X years, whatever. There's nothing like, there's no code like that written in the NFL. So he literally just gets to make it up as he goes. Again, as we've seen guys get way more punishment than we thought they deserve. Some guys get less than they probably deserve or whatever. But he literally, like you said, he can just do whatever the fuck he wants at any time. But I would think that the NFL wouldn't want too many more black eyes coming their way, especially with the head of the NFLPA stepping down after that scandal came out, because that's not a good look for the NFL with the collusion behind the scenes. And if you don't know the story, so it came out that there was collusion with the teams and the head of the NFLPA about giving players the fully guaranteed money. They were purposefully not paying people and holding out on contracts doing it. And the teams had gotten together to do this together. So basically they colluded as a league of owners against the players to make sure that this money didn't get out of hand. And the head of the NFLPA was in on it to try to grease the wheels with the players, convince them this was a good thing. So that's a big time fucking no-no when you're the head of a union and you're crossing the line to work with the corporation. You're there to represent the members of your union and to fuck the corporation at all costs.
When has a union ever done anything shady or a little bit out of bounds? Like this is like standard operating procedure for anybody who's grown up.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to get caught, and they got caught.
Yeah, well, that's usually a thing. But like anybody that's grown up in union families, damn good and well that there's always the union and a company. They are adversarial, but they work together so much. There's a push and pull. There's negotiations. We'll do this, you do that. Like it's just it's a breeding ground for corruption, really, because like you're working behind the scenes, you're cutting deals, And yes, the union's going to have the player side. Of course, the owners are going to have owner side. But yeah, something like this this is standard operating procedure for unions. Like they will do whatever they can to, and I'm sure he got a hell of a kickback for his part.
I'm sure he did. Why else would you do it if you're not getting paid?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a bad look. So, and then
was this Troy Vincent?
No.
I missed the story. So
I forget this guy's name. I'll figure it out in a second.
Okay. So they got a new head of union PA.
Yeah, he's let's see if I can find it real quick. Not that.
I wonder if Troy is going to be the new, because I know Troy Vincent was in that hierarchy of
NFLPA boss strip. Oh God. Now his strip club expenses are coming out. Yeah, good.
Strip club.
Lloyd Howell.
Yeah.
NFLPA executive director Lloyd Howell steps out. Yeah. So now apparently his strip club expenses are facing scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't go to a strip club on the company's dime, what are we even doing here? Like, why even play?
That's greasing the wheels, all right. He was greasing them with he was greasing them too good.
Oh my God. So yeah, this guy's all his dirty laundry is coming out now. That's not good. The only other thing really legal wise that could get him in trouble, Addison pleaded no contest to the DUI thing. I don't know if he's going to get a couple of games.
No, I don't think.
See people get a couple of games for stuff like that.
For DUIs, I don't think you get anything for DUI.
It's against the policy for sure.
I don't think you get suspended. I don't know. I'd have to look that up and see if there's a. I don't remember anybody saying, 2-game suspension for DUI. I don't recall that. Maybe it has happened. I just don't recall that.
Yeah. Anyway, other than that, Longhorn, I think he talked about this a little bit before. The second year guys, they're all holding out because the guy in Houston who fucked it up for everybody. But now they're starting to sign. Now they're starting to sign here and there. Your Bengals, they're still not getting their guy in camp, but the Cowboys did sign. I'm gonna rock you.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay. They're starting to all fall in. And just to catch people up, if you haven't heard the story, all the second round picks have largely been unsigned. Houston almost immediately within like a week, I think, of the draft signed Jaden Higgins, their second-round wide receiver at Ohio State, to a fully guaranteed contract, which was typically reserved only for the first-round picks. He was the second pick in the second round, which forced the hand for Cleveland. So not too long after that, Cleveland was kind of forced because of slotting. Okay, well, I guess we got to give Carson Schlesinger a fully guaranteed since, you know, your guy went number 2 and our guy went number 1 in the second round. And there's been a standoff since then, and now we're starting to finally see all the second round picks sign. And I've not seen one yet that has not got fully guaranteed. So I think Houston set a new precedent, and going forward, we'll just have first and second round guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, you can never go backwards on stuff like that, and unless you get it negotiated in to the their work agreement. Like after I remember the tipping point for the first round picks, it was Sam Bradford, and for those of you not old enough to remember that, Sam Bradford was quarterback for OU, and he was the first overall pick in the NFL draft. He went to the LA Rams, St. Louis Rams at that point, I believe. And he got $50 million fully guaranteed. It was the highest contract any rookie had ever signed by 1 million miles. And the veterans, like, literally threw a shit fit. Nobody in the NFL was making that kind of money. It was crazy. This kid's never even played a snap, blah, 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 blah.
That's like a 1-year deal now.
Yeah. He went to the negotiating. When they went back to the negotiating table to rewrite the work agreement after that between the players and the owners, that's when they came up with the first round rookie scale. So in other words, like, because they were treating it was almost like at that point, the rookies were doing what the veterans do now, and every class had to up and up and up. You know, the price tag kept going up and up and up on these first overall picks, and it was getting to a point of ridiculousness at that point. And so everybody's like, no, fuck this. So they restructured. So that's why the first round was used to back in the day. We'd have first round pick holdouts all the time. That was very standard because they could negotiate. No, this guy got drafted here. I got drafted here. I'm rated higher than him. I want more money, blah, blah, blah. And the reason why you never hear that anymore in the first round is because it's literally all slotted by position 1 through 32.
Yeah, it's been nice.
With position consideration. So if you're first round, if you're the number 1 overall pick and you're Jadeveon Clowney, you're not going to get the same money as the quarterback would at 1, but you get the slot for the defensive end at that position. So it's not, the money's not relative exactly dollar for dollar. It's also position considerate. But that's the reason why, since it's written into the contract, there are no more holdouts for first round picks. There are no more, we don't get that bullshit anymore, it became an epidemic at one time in the NFL for first round picks holding out. And it was just a bad look all over the league because everybody would draft these guys. Fan base gets excited like, nope, I ain't showing up to training camp. I'm not showing up to OTAs. I'm not showing up to any of this shit until you sign what I want to sign for. And it just became a really big plight on the league there for a couple of years. They eventually got that fixed, thank God. We don't do that bullshit anymore.
All right, we got about 20 minutes left. What do you want to hit?
Well, you said something about wanting to talk about favorites last year and dogs. So I'll set the table with this. Last year, it was an inordinate amount of favorites hit. So if you just went to the window last year and bet every favorite for every game in the NFL last year and said, just whoever's favorite, just give me the favorite, you won 52.7% of the time. So you didn't really make any money, but you definitely didn't go broke. And the totals on the over went over at 53.8% of the time. And if you look at the average favorite last year, it was 4.9 points, and the average total was 44.5. So what I did was I pulled the numbers from 2012 to 2023. So every season before that, for the last 11 years, favorites hit at 49.5% of the time, which is what you would expect. So you wouldn't make any money. If you went all favorites or you went all dogs, you wouldn't make any money on both sides, which is exactly what Vegas wants. And the totals went over at 48.4%. So really leaning more towards the under there, but you still wouldn't make any money if you bet it straight either way. And that was an average favorite of 5.3, so a little bit higher favorite, and an average total of 45.5, so a full point higher because the scoring has been going down over the last few years. So Vegas has adjusted that, but they adjusted too far last year. Longhorn, if you just went to the window and bet every game over, every single game over, you would have made a fucking killing at 53.8% at that volume. If you'd have bet 272 bets to the over, you'd have hit 53.8% of them. You could have made a fortune last year. Just give me the over, give me the over, give me the over. Vegas can't survive that way. They know that, but like I said, they were a full point below what they've been for the last decade before that last year.
And remember, those are closing lines. So if you get them in early, it probably would have been even higher because
probably would have been even higher. Yeah. They all got fed up, obviously, because every game was fucking going over.
Right. So
Vegas is going to have an adjustment to make on that for sure because, like I said, they can't survive with that because the players are just. I mean, even the Joes on the street are beat them to death with that because that's what every Joe on the street would just bet the over for sure. So there were just Joes left and right winning money hand over fist last year, just betting all the fucking overs. So it's kind of a crazy thing. Anyway, I know you had some data you want to go over on that perspective.
Yeah, I got three kind of little subset. It's kind of the death of the dog is what I call it. This little segment is going to be the death of the dog. At least last year, I know you've got some things that'll give us some hope that things get back to normal in this upcoming NFL season. But last year, the death of the dog. There's three subsets that we as professional football bettors usually make a killing on, and we can just take it to the bank. If this happens, then this happens. Like if A, then B. Like you can just like kind of set these things up. So the three subsets are last year bad teams coming off of a bad loss. So an underdog off of a bad loss, offer a bad underdog loss. These teams have to qualify under 40% winning percentage, coming off a loss of 20 or more. So that's your parameters. Since 2003. These spots have had a positive ROI of 7%. But last season, they went 21-25, negative 10.5%. Oh my God. Like that's unheard of. Like you can bank on these things. Second subset. It's along the same lines, but a little bit different. Bad team, under 40% winning percentage against a winning team of over 60% winning percentage coming off of a loss of 20 or more. So again, so since 2003, 6% ROI, you can kind of just bank on it. But and this one goes back 4 seasons, they're 20-25. So that one's had a little bit of a stretch of not cashing the way it should be. But this one's my favorite one because this one I know that we have just taken to the bank when this situation comes up. Teams with winning percentages over 60%. So a really good team coming off a bad loss of 20 plus points. Like a good team that gets hammered. And here's another part of the subset. They're underdogs again next week. So a good team got rolled, and they just happen to be underdogs. Like, that's your money spot. That is like fucking take it to the bank. I'm getting points. This is a good team. They just got embarrassed. That's the bounce back spot. So historically, since 2003, this is a positive ROI of 16%. It's a smash spot. But since 2020, so this is another one that goes back a little bit, only 13-16 ATS. So
Jesus.
And 0-4 last year. 0-4
last year.
So like you gotta wonder. We got to kind of rethink our smash spots and balance historical versus the way things change. And I know you run these numbers and you study these numbers year after year, so you get kind of a familiarity with how the gaps on teams are, how we're looking on basically on the parity side of things. So can we expect, Bo Stevens, some more fuckery like this, or are we going to be able to like kind of take some of these historical trends and rely on them more in this upcoming NFL season?
But I think from what I'm seeing in the numbers this year, it looks like we're going to have more teams in the middle than what we had last year. Last year we had a lot of haves and have-nots. So you had, division winners winning 14. I mean, you had in the North, you had the Lions winning 15, and Minnesota finished second with 14 wins. Like, right. When the fuck does that happen?
Never.
You get like one team like that, and then everybody else is, in the 9 to 11 range.
How is that even mathematically possible to have 15 and 14 in the same division?
It was crazy. It was literally crazy. But we had so many teams that were so bad last year as far as their overall standings. Now this year, like I said, the numbers are looking like we should get more of our usual 7 to 10 win teams in that window, 6 to 10, whatever you want to say. Not as many of the 1 and 2, win or the 3 or 4 win teams. I'm trying to pull up the standings last year just to show. So yeah, looking at the teams that finished last year, you had the Raiders with 4, Tennessee with 3, Cleveland with 3, New England with 4, the Giants with 3, Chicago with 5, New Orleans with 5. San Francisco was the best at 6 wins. But behind them, you had the teams like the Jets at 5. So New England finished last at 4. The Jets only won 5.
Yeah.
You had Jacksonville. Tennessee finished last with 3. Jacksonville only had 4.
Yeah.
You had all these. New Orleans and Carolina both had 5 wins. 2 teams that had 5 wins, and Atlanta had a losing record also in the same division. I was speaking of the North, by the way. Not only did you have 15 from Detroit, 14 from Minnesota, Green Bay won 11. You had 3 teams in the same division that had double-digit wins. That is fucking insane. And you had the same thing in the West. Kansas City, 15. Chargers, 11. Denver, 10. And then you had the Raiders at 4. So literally, it was like the haves and the have fucking nots. You only had, of the teams that I would call in the middle range, which, would be, let's say, 7 to 9 wins, you had Miami won 8, Dallas won 7, Cincy won 9, Indy, and Atlanta. And that's it.
Not enough. That should be about 10, 12 teams in that middle.
Right.
To have a normal, because these teams are going to be dogs when they play. When they go on the road, they're going to be dogs, but they should be live dogs that you can count on to hang in these games. And we just didn't have enough of them last year. There just wasn't enough.
No, you're not going to have that kind of parity when you only have that handful of teams that were not quite winning teams, but not poverty teams either. It was literally you were winning double digits or you were poverty, and there was like 5 in the middle. That's not a normal season at all. Usually you have a poverty team per division. Some divisions, we've seen some years where the last place finisher has 8 wins. It's all just a decent division over the top, and nobody's terrible. The closest thing we had to that was the NFC West, where you had 2 teams at 10, Seattle and the Rams, and then you had San Francisco finish last with 6. That's the best that we got of any of those scenarios. So that was a normal. The NFC West last year was a normal division. Rams 10, Seattle 10, Arizona 8, San Francisco 6. That is a normal NFL division. Now, of course, you're always going to have your bottom of the bottom feeders. Your couple of teams are going to win the 3 to 4 games, but not fucking 6 of them like we had last year. This is ridiculous.
And you're saying in some of your preseason, off-season work, it's looking like things are landing more normal in the middle.
Yes. Like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams. 9 teams that finished with less than 6 wins last year.
Oh my God. Less than 6?
Less than 6.
So 5 or fewer.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That
a third of the league.
This isn't college. You shouldn't have any fucking Bowling Greens on your schedule. This is not how this works. So I mean,
and the spreads last year got sucked. Do you remember that spread with Cleveland and Baltimore? Like towards the end of the year, it was like 18.
Yeah, it's just I don't like this. I don't like this.
It was NFL. 18, and we never even thought about taking Cleveland. It never even crossed my mind. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
A division team getting 3 fucking touchdowns, and I'm like, no, thank you. I'll pass. That is ridiculous.
Now let me just do a quick promotional, because we had all these outlier things that happened last year, and Bo Cephas, our top handicapper, still had a good NFL season. So that's why you should use professionals, because as a common person just blindly going up there kind of like picking historically or whatever, when something like this happens, you're fucked. If you don't have models, you don't have things that are flowing with this changing of things that are happening, you're not going to win. So, once again, just you got to use professionals. Use us at FGH. Bo Cephas, even with a random hopefully one-off year in the NFL, that things would sound. Yeah. But point being, whether it the numbers are the numbers. Like, it's going to kick out. The numbers are going to tell you who to pick. The models are going to tell you who to pick based on what's going on. So that kind of inside information is exactly what you need when you're going through these. It's already hard enough to win in the NFL anyways. So, like, use the professionals, contact us at patreon.com, sign up for free, and let us earn your business. But yeah, that's if you ever needed an example of why you need professionals, if you're going to bet on sports like that, like last year in the NFL is the perfect example.
So that thought's kind of crossed my mind too. So again, if you look at the average favorite, last year was 4.9, when the previous decade plus a year was 5.3. So they dropped it half a point. And of course, that's going to lead to more favorites covering. But I just said our disparity had probably never been bigger between the haves and the have-nots, yet our spread on average got smaller by half a point. So I've been thinking about this too. If you look at what's happening to our space, right? So the handicapping, touting space over the last, I don't know, Longhorn, probably 3-4 years, especially since sports gambling's been legalized in America. It's everywhere now, and everybody has somebody touting picks. Everybody has this, and it's mostly, almost, and I'm not going to call anybody by name or trash any service or whatever, but it's a lot of, I like to call them the touts with tits. They stick the blonde out there with the tits, and she just reads, picks that other people give them. And of course, they try to sound smart. So they say things like, oh, you got to take underdogs. Oh, you got to take unders, blah, blah. And it's all the, common wisdoms that we know as handicappers that generally does work. They're just out there spouting this bullshit, but there's more and more people, just common people, listening to them and getting this information out there. So I am starting to wonder if they're flooding the market so hard with the dog money that Vegas normally didn't get. And that's why we saw the reason for the shift. And maybe the common public perception has shifted a bit, and they're taking more favorites instead of dogs now, or more dogs, sorry, instead of favorites. And maybe that's why Vegas dropped the spread and took the money on the favorite side, because the money was actually coming in on the dogs, because that's what these touts for tits are telling people to do. And the more and more common people you got out there, the more access everybody has. Everybody has on their phone now. They can bet, bam, 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 any game you want right there on your phone.
Yeah.
I just saw, Tits McGee tell me to take all these dogs. I'm betting all these dogs, and all of a sudden, what do you know? The favorites fucking covered 53% almost. So it's just something I've been thinking about.
I got two thoughts on that. Is one, you'd have to have like an actual study that like shows how all these tits that are picking underdogs at a rate that's like, I mean, you don't see all of them. So like, are you just saying like when you see them, they're always picking
not saying it's always underdogs, always underdogs.
That's interesting. You would just need more of a study to see.
They're just spitting out the shit that they get fed from whatever, book they work from.
First, you mean they're not crunching numbers?
No, probably not.
You don't think the tight black dress is look, the tight black dress comes off and then they put their glasses on. They're crunching all these numbers. No, I don't think so either. But my second thought is don't go too hard, because we are actually looking for some tits that can tout our picks. We're taking.
Oh, I'm not opposed to it at all.
Taking applications at FGH. So if you've got tits that you want to tout some picks, email us. We'll have to have a thorough interview, of course. So we're not just giving it to anybody.
Oh man, it will be a thorough interview.
All I'm saying is, if you one day see FGH out there in the background and some bimbo in a black dress saying, "Hey, take this, take that," it was it's part of the plan.
Just know that she's probably getting her information from a good source. Yeah, one day it's just not even be us on the show anymore. It's just gonna be a chick just shaking her tits for an hour.
Not a horrible idea.
It's not. That would definitely would sell something for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, I just been thinking about that more and more, because just for the public sentiment starting to switch and more and more people getting the access to it. Because sports betting for so long was such a niche thing. I mean, you had to know a bookie. It was only certain guys that really got into it. Blah, blah. It still is, but it's grown tremendously, especially with all these apps that you can bet on now. and all these player prop apps. By the way, our boy CK killed it last year, player props. If you're out there doing the prize picks and that kind of stuff, you are literally throwing your money away if you're not following this dude and taking his picks, because he fucking crushed it.
That's a huge growing part of this gambling community, because but not everybody wants to bet on. Not everybody wants to sit there and watch like the fantasy football has changed that part of it, because like people watch games not just for games, they watch them for players now. And so yeah, like us having a player props guy that can go out there and bust up these picks, like you have to use them. Even if you're just a fantasy guy. Like, I mean, we price our picks, all of them on the website, the Patreon, because on purpose. They're affordable on purpose, because we're not trying to break you. We're trying to make money with you. So like, these don't cost you a lot to get professional inside information. So yeah, whether it's our player prop guy, CK, Bo Cephas hitting 58% last year, you got to go to the Patreon page, sign up, and get these picks.
Yeah, like you said, even if it's just for your fantasy team, even if you're just doing the daily fantasy thing or whatever, or a weekly fantasy on FanDuel and stuff like that, I promise you, if you follow what he says, even if you're not betting the actual, props that he puts out, but you're doing, a lineup selection, he's like, hey, go over on Mike Evans, 8.5 receptions. Like, okay, well, I probably should enter Mike Evans in a lineup this year if I'm doing a cash lineup or whatever, or this week. Like, that's all the information that you get, and you could use that in a million different ways. And you can make money off it so many different ways. I mean, one of the benefits of, working here is we all get each other's picks for free, and I used the shit out of him last year, and he made me a shit ton of money, so I definitely appreciate it. I was hitting prize picks fucking left and right.
Why am I paying for him then? This is bullshit.
Shit, I should have said that out loud.
I was sending in monthly payments trying to support the team. Y'all over here just getting shit for free. This is bullshit.
Did you miss that memo?
So I guess we're running out of time. So I guess we'll save the let's tease the word association game for next week. I know, are we starting the weeklies next week? The division previews, or do we have another week?
No, we got another week. Yeah, we're not doing it next week because we'll be in Vegas.
Oh, that's right.
So we might could do the word association for that, but then after that. So next week we're in Vegas, and then the week after that, boys and girls, it is on. We got division. The FGH podcast comes back in full force. We'll be recording our first episode of the 2025 season next week, or not next week, in 2 weeks. We'll be recording that. It will come out the first week of August. We will start breaking down 2 divisions per week, every week for 4 weeks. That 2 times 4 equals 8, I think. And that will get us to Labor Day, college football kickoff, and it'll be time to fucking rock and roll.
I know, we're so close now. Like, this is the dead time of the year for sure, but we're starting to get to that point where it's like, okay, they're coming to camps. Everybody's kind of, they're not doing shit at camp yet. They're just kind of stretching and checking in, getting their pads and making sure all the things fit right, and all. And if you're in Chicago, Sugar Britches is making sure I gotta have all the finger paint. I gotta have
nipples.
Yeah, maybe stick a flower in the. I need to see if this flower will fit and with my helmet over it, so that I can be really, really pretty on the field. That's what's happening in Chicago. I don't know about the rest of the league, but it's very important in Chicago. So I don't know if we don't get to the word association game next week, then I might just bust out some content and have a little fun with it and get that out to the people. But yeah, we're starting up pretty soon, rocking and rolling into the weeklies.
All right, Longhorn, one more time, Patreon, all the stuff, and get us out of here.
All right, so FGH is what you have to use us. If you're going in this football season blind, you are fucking doing it wrong. We just explained how important it is to have a guy on your player props, to have a guy leading you through the treacherous waters of college football and NFL. Go to the Patreon page, patreon.com/bet_FGH. You can sign up for free. We're not going to charge you just to be a member, but I promise you're going to get some free picks on the Patreon. You're going to get some free picks from our podcast. You're going to get some free picks on the radio show once we get into the season. You're going to want to sign up and become a premium member. I promise you. So we look forward to partnering with you on that and having a great another super college and NFL season. So people, stop throwing away your hard-earned money on a guessing game. Let the pros do the heavy lifting. So sign on up. tell a friend, and join in on the fun of watching football, drinking beer, and never pay a bookie again. Come on.
Damn, people never pay a bookie again. Steven Tyler, take us out there.